Hi, sisters! What is going on, everybody? It's Durrr Burger, and yeah, today we are going to be deciding if the Durrr Burger pack in the item shop is actually worth it or not. Here we have the Durrr Burger Bundle in the item shop, and this entire bundle for the 3 builds and the little decor is $2,400. Or you could kind of buy the building separately for $18, and then the decor for $600, which, you know, guess what? That is the exact amount as this is. But anyways, inside of the bundle, we actually get the Takeout Counter, which is literally just this tiny little building. We have the Durrr Burger franchise, which would basically just be at McDonald's if it sold Durrr Burgers. And here we have the Flagship Restaurant, which if you've played OG Fortnite, you know where this building is. And then we just have some decor. So here we have the dining room stuff. Here we have the kitchen stuff. Here we have our patio stuff for the outside, and I especially love the little burger. And then we have the Out-Durrr Burger Decor as well, which is, again, very burger aesthetically. And obviously, to get started, we have to start off with our buildings, and we're going to go from smallest to biggest, and here we actually have our Takeout Counter, which is literally just like kind of the smallest restaurant. And honestly, building it takes a lot of materials, like especially the really big one. Like look how much granite I have in my inventory already. We're just gonna kind of do a speed build of this while I talk over it, just because, you know, it's a lot. And while building this, honestly, this one was probably the most fun because the ones where you have to actually like go up in the air to find stuff or use stairs to get up places, it makes it a little bit harder to actually build these prefab builds. However, this one is just one story. It's like honestly super compacted. It looks super nice. And honestly, this was definitely the most enjoyable build out of the 3. And here is our completed build of the Takeout Counter. And as you can see, it's really not that big, but it did take up a considerable chunk of resources for sure. And when you go inside, there is quite literally nothing. Here's like the back storage container. Here is where you can like take orders and stuff. But there are no decorations in here. And if you've played LEGO Fortnite, you know that that's the case for all of the builds. That's why you actually have the decorations tab and all of this stuff right here to actually be able to do that. But honestly, looking at the building, it doesn't look bad. I actually think that this is the best one out of the few, just because it doesn't take up that much space. And realistically, you're not really serving food here. I really like the size of this one because some of the other ones do tend to get a little bit too big, but if you're building like an actual city and you need like some mega restaurants, then go crazy. But I think that this one does a great job. It's literally just like a random hometown shack. If you took off the Durrr Burger sign, this could literally just be any random thing. But I really like this. Like, I really like how the details are on here. So you can actually, if you take a look at any of this, you can actually build this with any of the Lego bricks IRL. Like, it's really cool to actually see this stuff come to life. And you even get a couple of doors you can open and close. And this one is a tad bit different than this one because this is actually one to let customers in. So all the customer doors are actually going to be this kind of like nice gray and orange color. And then the service ones, as I call them, are going to be this green kind of like waste management looking color. But I will say, I really like the roof as well. Like, I really like that kind of like, it's more of a dark brown with an orange texture included in, if that makes any sense. I just think the colors look really good, and I really love the sign as well. I love how they actually have the lettering on there with saying Durrr, and then the burger actually used in the Lego pieces, and I can't get over how cool it is. We even have some rails out here, and we even have this floor right here, which honestly, I'm not a super big fan of this floor right here just because it has all these cracks inside, and it doesn't look super good to me, but you can always change the floor up. So like once you actually have this built, you can literally just like break this and then change it to whatever you want. But now moving on to the Flagship Restaurant, and we're gonna do the same thing. It's time lapse time, let's go. When building this medium-sized one, it honestly took a minute to actually enjoy this just because it's exactly the same build as the very first one, except this one has 2 stories. And some of them didn't really make sense. Like some of the doors go places where they probably shouldn't go, and there's a door that leads on the outside. And it just doesn't really make some sense in the way. And it was a little bit difficult to actually get some of the pieces just because they were on the outside. You have to actually build stairs to get up. It is just a slight hassle compared to the other one. They did use the exact same building materials, so it wasn't like it was like harder in the sense that there was just a ton more to do. It was just a little bit more of a hassle. And then here we have it. This one is also done as well. And this one actually looks super good. Let me get this stupid little thing out of the way real quick. But this one looks very good as well. This was literally just a step up from this one. I really like this sign a little bit better, but this one is slightly bigger, and you can definitely tell the words are definitely there. So there's that one. Here's this one. They're you know what? I think they're the exact same size. I think just one has different poles on it. I think that's what I like. Or maybe they are the exact same size. I'm stupid. They are the exact same size. Sweet. And this uses the exact same parts as this one does, except this one doesn't have that really cool roof that I feel like this is more like McDonald's-esque than this is. I feel like this is what like restaurants are trying to do now, where they're trying to like go more modern and have these like sleek aesthetic looks, and that's what this one kind of reminds me of. This again has the exact same parts. This one just has two different stories as well. So here's that green utility door, as I call it. A lot of open space when we actually go inside of the restaurant compared to the other one. So if you wanted to even modify this, it would be a lot easier than... Bro, what are you doing? Than, per se, this one, because once you walk in the door right here, and I kind of broke the floor right here, there is literally room for, like, a single table right here in the corner, and that is about it. When you actually go in this one, there is plenty of room outside to actually place tables and decorations, and in here, again, there's a lot of room for tables and stuff, and that doesn't even, like, count the stuff that we can actually see up top. So, again, there's more room for tables up here, which is very fantastic, and again, it uses the exact same building materials as the other one. The only difference that this one has other than that is that this one doesn't have this cool little, like, pointed roof, and this one has 2 stories. That actually leads out to this part of the roof, and I don't know why it lets you go out here, because... Like, thinking about it, like, realistically, why would you let your customers go out on the roof with your neon sign, you know what I'm saying? But then you have this back here, which I honestly think could be turned into a bathroom, because it's just a place with, like, an empty door, so I don't really know what all you could do back here, but if you, like, broke this wall, put a door, you could put a bathroom back here, and it actually looks super nice with some decorations. So overall, I will say I like this one too, but again, I think I like this one better. Maybe if we made this size restaurant with this style with the roof, I think it would look fire. And finally, we have the franchise. And this one is, again, that one that you will know of if you've ever played the OG Fortnite. And, like, just automatically look how big of a space this takes up. Like, this is an immense amount of space that you need to be able to put this in your world if you are going to use this template, because again, you do get all of the building materials from this. So here we have all of the building materials from the takeout wall, all that stuff. But if you're going to build the prefabs, then you better be prepared for a lot of room. So anyways, you know what time it is. Let's time lapse. Let's go there. And finally, building this one, which is obviously the biggest one. This one honestly was pretty fun as well, because most of it is actually in that front. The biggest part is actually the front part, where it's literally just a 1-story building. And then in the back, you actually have the 2 stories as well. And again, this one has the exact same building materials as the other ones did. I will say I ran out of granite a lot faster than I thought I would. I think you need an inventory full of granite before you're going to build this, because I had a lot and it just wasn't enough. So make sure you have enough here, because it definitely was a lot. I will say getting the granite can definitely be a hassle, and especially to build this prefab, it might be a mega hassle if you haven't already collected all of that rock so far. So just make sure you have that in the back of your mind before attempting this build, just because it takes a stupid amount of rock. And for the final touch, our Durrr Burger sign is complete. And again, I'm stupid. I thought all 3 of these were different. But no, the Durrr Burger signs are definitely the same. And this one features the roof that I absolutely love. This one, I take back what I said. This one is now the best one. Not only does this have, obviously, the most surface area to be able to, like, go do stuff with. So once you walk in the doors, you get this awesome, iconic look from, oh, it's so fun to go here. We got Greasy Grove buildings in here. And again, if you played OG Fortnite, you know what I'm talking about. Here we go inside, and just like inside, if this was real Fortnite, there'd be a chest right up here, but there's a ton of space in here to be able to place any of your, like, decoratives that you really want to. There's a ton of counter space, and even back here, you can kind of go up the stairs and stuff. There's some bathrooms right here that we can hide some loot inside of, and back here, again, we have this nice green utility door that I love that it opens. I will say, it looks a little funky with this being just like this random wall back here. But I know that's what it's supposed to look like. But again, I love this absolute gorgeous roof. Like, I love the brown and the orange colors. It just matches perfectly. And I love that it even has like a lip that goes around. I really wish it wasn't a gap right here though. And again, I don't like this stupid tile with all this stupid like little gaps in between. I wish it was just solid. I wish they gave us something like that, but that's not in the pack. So I guess we just got to live with it forever. But again, dude, this is a phenomenal build. It's more iconic than it is, like, super good, because, I mean, realistically, it kind of looks like an eyesore unless you know what this is, but I do think that this is a really, really, really good build. And now let's go over all of the decor that you can actually find inside of the bundle. And here it is, just kind of all placed together, all nice and neat. So here are all the decorations except for a couple. And let me honestly just go over the ones that were a little bit more difficult to make. So here we actually have the Durrr Burger wall sculpture. And this one actually looks like this. It's literally just a tiny little burger that you can actually slap on the wall. And this one you have to use 8 of the spicy burgers with, and that is honestly just very hard if you're starting out the game. And this one, I low-key didn't have any wool fabric, but this is what it looks like. It honestly looks super cool, and honestly, this is probably the best rug in the entirety of the game. Like, this thing is phenomenal. But we also have this big Durrr Burger sign, which costs 16 of the spicy burgers. And again, this is just something that not many people realistically are gonna have. So it's gonna take a little bit of effort to actually get some of these things. But, you know, the sign and these are actually not that bad. And finally, we have the Durrr drink dispenser. This has slap juice and snowberry shake. And again, those can be kind of hard to get if you're starting out. And it does look really cool, I'm not gonna lie. It actually fits in very well with the nice theming of the restaurant. So, you know, props to them for, you know, at least making something look good. The recipe just kind of sucks. And actually, there are 2 more things that were a little bit harder to get. So we have this Durrr exhaust pipe that actually looks honestly kind of horrible. It's literally just this giant beam, and honestly, you could make it look kind of menacing. You could honestly make this, you could make it a gray McDonald's logo with this if you have the iron bars. And then there's one more where it is, again, the exhaust duct. And this one is a little bit different, but this one uses iron bars as well. And now that we've got those out of the way, let's start going over some of these. And while it is nighttime, let's go over these lights. Honestly, this light puts out a lot. This is actually what it's called, the Durrr floor light. And this thing is crazy lighting up stuff. It honestly doesn't look bad either. Like, you could use this in a lot of builds, especially in the new cars and stuff. That actually looks super good. And then we have this little lamp right here that doesn't really seem like it's doing too much, but I mean, it's there. And the design is very, very nice. Like, it's very kind of boring, but it's nice. It gets the job done for sure. And just taking a look at more of these decorations, the first big one we have is this gigantic ketchup and mustard bottle. And low-key, I think this is my favorite sign out of the entire bundle. But here we have our seats, which you can actually sit in. We have a little, kind of a big one. This is a combination of this, plus another one of that. And then we have just the tiny version, a little blue and gray version. We have a table, and we even have like a microwave that you can kind of start to put stuff in. You even have a little tiny cash register down here. 2 drink dispensers. You have one, I guess this could either be a condiment station or like a drink dispenser. It's kind of whatever you choose for it to be. Another cash register. In this case, we actually have some buttons on it. This one's kind of just boring and it's really nothing on there. And here again, we have some more condiment stations with some little toppings in there. A little corner desk. And what's really cool is this one is actually another little counter that actually acts as a storage system. And back here, we actually have some HVAC stuff. So here's a little vent, another vent, and again, another vent. Wow! Right here, we have 2 different seats. We have a little blue seat and a purple seat. A couple of boxes. We have one. This is really just like a little pickup station, and another one that I actually really like this box. Like, I actually think that if you stack this box, you could make some really cool decorations with this. This is one of the best things out of the bundle, like, unironically. And then right here, we have another little counter. Some seating outside of some of my favorites. So right here, we actually have 2 of the Durrr Burger things. One with just the patio. So if you wanted to put this on top of, like, let's say the box, you could. And then this one actually acts as an actual seating thing. So they're both the exact same, except this one just has a little table around it. And this one is another thing that acts as like this, that isn't as themed. It's just another table with a cover on it. And then over here, we actually have a water jug container. And you actually put stuff on the shelves too if you really wanted to. We have a sink that can obviously go inside of the bathroom. And I'm not really sure what's so special about this sink or like why it was really included in here, but we have it. And then finally, we have this little freezer that, you know, you can put stuff in. So if you wanted to put, you know, corn in there, go crazy. Oh my goodness. And we missed the napkins. This is one of the best things in the bundle too. I actually love the way that they do the napkins. I love the angles that we have on there. And it just looks so uniquely cool. So let's talk about if these are going to be worth it or not. Because again, the bundle is $2,400, or you could kind of buy them separately or do whatever you wanted to. But we do get 3 giant buildings. So we have one small one medium building, and then the giant iconic building. And I love the signage on here. We have the really cool sign. It is really cool, hot, like not hot dog. We have the ketchup and mustard sign with a whole bunch of decorations. And a lot of them are even functional too. Like, again, you can open up and close a lot of these things. Some of them just look super generic, like these little HVAC systems, especially this light right here and that light look kind of generic. The seatings look, you know, kind of off, but they look really cool. Like this, in my opinion, is the star of the show. I don't know why this is one of my favorite things out of the bundle, but it really is. And especially all of the actual Durrr Burger aesthetically pleasing pieces, like all the ones that are actually shaped like a burger, that makes this bundle so cool. And again, you get all the blueprints, you even get all the builds for all this. So all of the stuff that actually came with this, you can actually find inside of right here. And literally just find them in the building parts, and you can build everything you want with all of the building parts from all of these buildings. So you get all the parts, you get all the decorations, and everything else that you couldn't normally just get in the game. And this is where my problem lies. So, you know, skins are one thing because they don't really grant you any like advantage in the game other than you just look a little bit cooler than, you know, the default skin. But in the Lego Fortnite mode, you get a whole bunch of builds and stuff, but there's not as much that you can really do with a lot of those. Like, I mean, we get this and stuff like that, but you don't get all of these cool buildings that you see in the actual game. Like, this, in my opinion, should have been included in the base game because this is an iconic piece of, you know, Fortnite history. We have the Durrr Burger stuff. I mean, if it's like a theme set like Ninjago or Lego Dreams or stuff like that, yeah, that makes sense to be in the item shop because that is a Lego property. But in this case, it's really weird to me that they have this in the item shop for sale, you know? Like, I really think that they should have just surprised us with an update that gave us this because realistically, that would have added more players in my opinion because this would have added a very iconic build to all of the stuff that people would have wanted to experience. And that's just like my one side thing about that. So getting that out of our mind and, you know, being a little salty about it is okay because, you know, I am a little salty that we had to pay for this. But I do think that this is an incredible, incredible pack because not only does it feature a lot of things that are actually super easy to build because some of the other packs actually feature a lot of builds that have some weird parts. And, you know, this one does include some weird parts, too, like the little burgers. But, you know, that's understandable. It's literally a Durrr Burger, so it makes sense. But some of the other ones are just kind of hard to build some of the stuff. So this one having to use a lot of just wood and granite makes this super easy to build and super just obtainable, honestly. The builds are great in my opinion. Like, I honestly have no complaints about the building. I think that they look fantastic, and they did a great job at designing the iconic Durrr Burger franchise into the actual Lego mode. And again, if you look at any of this, you can honestly build this with Lego parts that you have. So I think that's just super cool that they have all of that. And honestly, by putting the stuff that I think we should have gotten this for free in the back of our head and not thinking about it in the rating here, I honestly think that this is one of the packs that is actually going to be worth it because this is something that, like, you know, as weird as it might be to put just like a Durrr Burger franchise in the middle of your town, it makes sense. We're in Fortnite. It literally makes sense, and the builds look great too. So honestly, I'm going to give this one an absolutely worth it in this case. Like, this is one of those ones where I'm like, this is great. Like, I really enjoy all of this stuff. And we even have Beef Boss here. Like, he's in the game. It's so cool. So yeah, this is absolutely gonna be worth it. And so anyways, we're actually gonna wrap up the video right here. Please make sure to use code CJBrickles in the item shop if you're gonna get this. That would be amazing. It's just a great way to support me in a technically a free way. So anyways, seriously, thank y'all so much for watching, studs. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I will see y'all later.